could happen,
Yeah.
this is very remarkable to maybe to go a little bit contrary to what Vivian said, that Latinas supported Trump more than they supported Kamala Harris. So Latinas believe they are more Americans than the black immigration. So this policy for Trump is not for all immigrants. There are some immigrants that are more beneficial and some more are burdened than others. So look, for the first time in a long time, we have a Republican president, we have a Republican Senate, and we have a Republican House, meaning Republican policy will tend to be more enforced than Democrats. Of course, whenever there's something that needs a 2/3, that's the only time when Republicans will struggle. And if there is anything that needs simple majority, will pass through. Immigration is simple majority. That doesn't need something very significant. So, therefore, Trump agenda is important. And secondly, I want to just disqualify the fact that Americans do not matter. Why? For one reason is that in the last financial year, the aid was $1.6 billion to Kenya. And that is around 208 billion Kenya shillings. Where do you get this money? A whole finance bill that we rejected could not even raise that money. So therefore, this is significant, because if that money is pulled back, you suffer. Secondly, we depend on interest rates. The interbanking rate in the US will affect us here. So with the issue of taxing more of the base, because Trump is going to tax more the middle class and the poor, isn't it? And give tax breaks to the upper, that will affect how the finances flow. The dollar, the Kenya shillings exchange will change. In fact, we saw already the market responding positively to Trump's election, then the US market, financial market responding. Therefore, we expect some impact happening here, because they say when the US sneezes, Kenya catches a cold, and that cold is real. It's real cold. You saw what happened during the global financial crisis. Therefore, we foresee that this is going to affect us. But there's what we call systemic risk in economy, but those called internal risks. The systemic risk is whereby when Trump sneeze will affect everybody in Africa, but how you are prepared to react to the sneezing from the US is what matters. So how is Kenya prepared to face the Trump administration? So now, our members of parliament in Kenya sitting in Bunge and saying, well, now we need to align ourselves this way. Another question is, does Kenya have a foreign policy? We don't have, because we have been flip-flopping. So is it time now that we come together and form this Kenyan policy and work? Secondly, economic blocks can help. When Trump was attacking Europe, European Union became together and repelled his attack. Is African Union, where Raila Odinga is now going to look for policies on which now they can come together? East African Union, where East African Union Assembly, where Sankok is. Are they coming with policies to shield East Africa against Trump?
Do they have the muscle?
Do they have the muscle?
And the capability to do so?
So these questions, I can't answer them, because then I may look like I'm just speaking, because I'm just Fred Ogola. But I'm trying to say, as an economist, this becomes very important. Now, when we go to the issue of the labor issue, which is key, then I go to Haiti issue. Because this is important for people to know. The labor issue in the US that Trump is talking about, there are two things, remember. These immigrants are the biggest tax burden, even if they're offering cheap labor. Why? They form 60% of unemployment benefits. You know, in the US, if you are in the US and you don't have a job, you get paid for not working. So even if these immigrants are offering cheap job, whenever they lose those cheap jobs, they are being paid by the state for not working. So Trump is saying, let me clean this dead wood, remain with the people who are more going to give me revenue as they work in the US, not people who are going to depend on me. Then lastly, the US has got no labor. US has gone more. We need to. The US has moved whereby their labor is more whereby they talk about the technology, not the labor that needs human labor. That's why Apple does the design in the US. Manufacturing takes place where? In China. So because of this, you have to remember that the US is not going to suffer even if Trump implements what you're going to say. And lastly, now to your question on the issue of Haiti, Haiti issue, Trump will not increase funding for these things. So we can see more cuts, or we can see them now being told, if Haiti wants to be helped by Kenyan forces, why don't Haiti make it upon themselves to look for how to get this funding to make things work? Okay. And now, back at home in Kenya, I finished by telling you, my brother, our problem in economics is overspending and corruption, because our president is the most expensive one to maintain. He's the highest president paid over, and therefore we have to borrow more and tax more to keep in office. And if we can lower our taxation, improve productivity, the economy can wake up, because corruption is very big on the supply side, on the demand side of economics, not supply. And supply is the production side. So I believe we just need sound economic policy, not much to depend on the US, so that whenever US fails us, we can be able to mitigate that failure by our own internal policies.
Okay, Alice, you can pick it from there.
Yeah, what we need to do is this. If this country has to change before 2027, which I don't think it will.
I mean, you have to have some hope.
Hopes must be based on facts and a lot of honesty. Kenya's problem, like now in Kenya Kwanza, is bloated government and incompetent people. Now, why do you think Syria is more corrupt than Denmark? Why is Somalia more corrupt than Finland or Norway? When you have a country that is disciplined starts from self. You go to the streets of Nairobi and see how people are driving. So this culture of indiscipline in terms of wanting to rush, like you have a car, then there is a disabled person crossing the road. You do not have even the empathy to allow that. You hoot. You see, you're dressed with very expensive suits, and then you eat bananas. And then on the highway or the expressway, you just see peeled banana flying. If Kenya has to change, and we want to change this country, we should be a very disciplined society that is very fair to each other, even as a person. When you want to steal, you can't lead people. When you want to make money, you can't lead people. Why is it that 30% of the budget, about 300 billion, is stolen? Why is it that? And then the stealing, we are only blaming Ruto. Everybody in government, I said, is either a thief, a potential thief, or a thinking thief.
All right.
So if the people in offices are stealing tissue paper and printing papers and taking it to their houses, if the head teachers are stealing textbooks, if that medical doctor is entrusted to treat people, is stealing the drug meant for public in the hospital and then taking it to his private hospital, or he prescribes drugs that are only meant you get it from his hospital. So this is a societal problem. You cannot, Ruto is one person. What happens if he dies today or something else happens? So what happens if he loses the election? We were complaining during Uhuru. We are complaining after this. We can bring somebody else. But if that person is equally a third who wants to only steal, then Kenya remains stagnant and very poor, because crime rate is 104 reported in just 10 months.
Well, of course, this conversation can go on for the longest time. Of course, just under 30 seconds, Vivian, before my directors on my neck right here. Just
I'll talk about just two things. The femicide issue. I'm glad that Ruto finally pronounced himself on the femicide issues, but I would like to see more action taken by police and just, members of the public to mitigate this thing. It's becoming too much. It's becoming runaway, so let's not stop talking about it until we see at least a step change. And the other thing I want to talk about is a message from my people of Langata, Southland specifically. This is a message to Governor Sakaja and his team. Watu wetu wa Southlands hawana maji. They don't have water. And Governor, please, you need to do something. You are elected on this platform of providing these basic needs. Please don't wait until 2027. Kurudi kuomba kura tena, yet you've not served your people. Let's see a change. Let's see you send some people there to sort out the issue so that the people have clean water. It's a basic right enshrined in the Constitution anyway.
All right. Thank you for that. Of course, I can't give my closing remarks because literally been talking for the past 2 hours or so. But just to underscore what Vivian has talked about right there, let's continue talking about the issue on femicide because we're losing too many of our women in the hands of rogue men. So up until something is done, the conversation cannot just die. Keep talking about it on your social media platforms, pushing for that effective change to be implemented. Thank you for making time for us right here, New Dawn. It goes without saying, I'm Alan Owino. Continue with the conversation on the global stage and nationally so that our country does not necessarily fall. I'll be seeing you when you see me. Do have yourselves a lovely one.
Mapateme ya bolingo natie maboko na moto
natini bolingo ta elali selio miso ekoki olelisa kaka miswango lisusu naleli na barbara
nayemba na lombo makiari franco ayemisaka nga makambo ezali minene Kaka makambo loko le gomelio supporter ozuwa kibangajement loko le gomelio assumer molambi ya fufu atala kama ina fufu ya poussière kizima yo salinte ba
Catch every thrilling moment of the English Premier League. The German FA Cup.
Harry Kane scores! How many times have you heard that?
La Liga. Serie A.
Marcus Thuram! What a start to life in the Milan derby!
And all Manchester City games.
He goes and stones and high!
Live on K24. This season, K24 is your playground for champions. Don't miss out. Tune in and watch the best football from around the world on Maskani ya Machampe live on K24. Game ni 90 lakini ball ni 24/7 hapa K24. When it's a Saturday, there's only one entertainment show in East and Central Africa. Arena 254. Join Aisha Wanjiku and Tony Mwirigi for all the artistic interviews fused with amazing entertainment conversations and sizzling hot live DJ mixes. Catch this and so much more every Saturday from 10 p.m.
Skuzi nimetizi na wakanesa manzi mkamba anishuko mirema
only on K24 TV.
Rabbit manure is the only animal manure that you can sweep and put it in your farm the same day. This week on Kilimo na Biashara, we focus on rabbit farming.
Rabbits actually is the healthiest meat in the world. Nutrition-wise, punch for punch. We feed the rabbits at 6 a.m. in the morning and at 5 p.m. We put them feed because they're